When friends gather tonight with Manitoba pork, I have asked Susan Reese if she will be my friend, and she has, fortunately for me, agreed. And I'm especially excited because of all of these incredible recipes that we're making tonight. Cuban pulled pork. So this is not like one of these recipes is like sopping with sauce. It's sort of more that tangy, tender, delicious, where the pork really just kind of shines through.
Yes, and we're using a slightly different method for this too. It's called backwards braising, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Backwards braising.
Yeah, once we get going.
Sounds good.
We're starting off with, you can either use pork shoulder blade roast boneless or a pork shoulder butt. Comes from the same part of the hog, the upper front leg, just a slightly different area. So this is pork shoulder butt, very popular for doing pulled pork. You need that marbling in there to make sure that the meat stays nice and tender. Now, instead of rubbing this like we would do with other pulled porks and then searing it before cooking it low and slow, we're actually going to marinate this.
Okay.
So we've taken our about 4 pounds of pork shoulder and we've cut it into six big pieces, and just salt and peppered it a little bit.
And I love the Ziploc marinade because this makes cleanup very easy, and it's always kind of fun to.
This is
what's the technical term? Squish it around.
Massage it around.
Oh, okay.
Squishing
Good
works
word.
too. So the first thing we're going to add is a combination of low sodium chicken broth and some canola oil. Pour that in. So that's our oil
kind of
base
starting
base. Then we've got a variety of fresh citrus juices. So we're using some fresh lemon and lime juice and some orange juice.
Okay.
Pull that in.
That's the tangy.
That's the tang. And then we're going to add some green onion and tons of garlic. So I've got about 5 or 6 cloves of garlic in here.
I'm just worried about that bag.
That bag falling over. Yeah.
You.
Okay. I will. I'll hold it.
I mean,
How about that?
It kind of be funny, but
no kitchen disasters, please. And then we've got some dry spices here. So a little bit of dried oregano leaves, some sugar, and some cumin.
All right.
Put that in.
And I see a big bowl of peak of the market onions. Is that coming later?
That is coming later. Okay. So zip that up, and then you would, like you said, massage it, and basically put it in the refrigerator overnight would be ideal to let all of those flavors really penetrate.
Longer the better. 24 hours. You're kind of aiming for. Oh boy.
Make sure, and make sure that
you are stressing me out with that Ziploc bag, Susan.
Okay.
There we go.
So we'll just put that in the fridge, and let's just hope that doesn't fall over. Okay. So then once you take that out of the marinade, you want to actually save a little bit of that marinade. So reserve about a cup of it. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to put those pieces of pork that have been marinating in that delightful broth and seasonings, and put it in your Dutch oven or heavy bottomed baking dish. Put those pork pieces in on the layer of onion. That's where the onion comes in. So you put the onion down, pork pieces on top. In the oven, this goes for about 2.5 to 3 hours on 325 Fahrenheit.
They called it backwards braising.
Backwards braising. So the reason that I'm calling it that is because we're slow cooking and then we're following with a blast of heat in the oven. And then that's going to give you some tender meat with a nice appealing crust, all without searing the pork first.
So first slow and low, then the blast of heat.
Right.
Okay.
So we can move on to the cooked pork.
Okay.
And we'll just show you what that looks like once it comes out of the oven. Oh. So you've got these amazing pieces of pork in about a cup of the marinade that you used initially, and on that bed of onions. So at this point, you would take these out, put them on a cutting board, let them cool off.
Okay.
And you can strain all of that liquid and the leftover onion into a sauce pot. At this point, you can decide if you want to puree that onion, if you want to discard the onion, or even just leave the onion whole and incorporate it back into your dish after.
Because it's not integral to the rest of the recipe necessarily.
It's not, because all the flavor's already in there. Yeah. But if you want to use up the onion, like by all means, right? So we'll take out a piece here, and then we'll just show everyone how to pull it.
And you can just
already
see it's
falling apart.
Like
exactly.
It's
so I'll give you
juicy.
this other piece here, if I can snag it without making a huge mess.
Smells brilliant. Okay.
So then you Go ahead.
Yeah.
You pull it apart with
Anything
the
I
two
need
forks.
to know before we
just,
go in?
It's gonna be excellent. It's just nice and juicy and tender. You pull it all apart. Discard any of the unwanted fat that you wish to use.
And I guess you like
to get rid of.
you can leave some like chunks, I guess.
Absolutely,
if you like.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, part of the backwards braising method is now, once you've got all of that meat pulled apart, add a little bit of that sauce back in just to moisten the meat as much as you want. You probably only need about half of what's actually in there. And then you're gonna put this whole dish back in the oven
Goes back in the
under
oven.
broil.
Oh,
Under broil for
okay.
about 5-10 minutes, and that's
Wow.
gonna give you all that crispy goodness on the top without having to do the searing at the beginning. So you're actually only using one dish for all of that. And
I'm snagging a piece of
yeah,
this while
so
you're
it also
chatting.
makes for easier cleanup. And then this is what you get at the end. You've got your pulled pork for a crowd. You can garnish that with a little bit of cilantro or even fresh oregano, since there's oregano in the dish.
The more cilantro, the better. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can use it for lots of different things. Burritos.
Eating it
tacos,
directly out of
eating
the
it
pan by the
directly,
handful.
set up a burrito bar, whatever.
Awesome. Okay, this is what you get at the end. Cuban pulled pork. And when we come back, bacon, bomb, trifle. There's bacon. It's going to be candied. It's going to be wonderful. Please stay with us. All right, I'm Karen on Great Tastes of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by Manitoba Liquor Mart. Enjoy responsibly.